This will be a really short brief, and it's going to be a long day. So with that being said, as you guys get tired, work it out with each other. We're taking 6 pallets out of here, 27 passengers, and I anticipate getting a little bit more at Riverside. That's it. Let's do bus in 5 minutes.
The reports coming out of Puerto Rico following Hurricane Maria's devastating juggernaut across the island were grim.
The first pictures now coming in from Puerto Rico after taking a direct hit. Hurricane Maria slamming into the island, and as you heard, one official saying the island is destroyed.
People were left without food, water, and electricity, and there was little hope of any kind of swift relief. Unlike Houston and Florida, the island is only accessible by plane or boat, which means if there was any chance of aid making it to people in time, it'd have to be flown in. And I had a good feeling the airmen and women at Travis Air Force Base would be called on to provide that airlift support. On September 22nd, I got the call I'd been waiting for. The mission was go, and we were wheels up in 19 hours.
I'm here on the flight line at Travis Air Force Base, and behind me is the C-5 Galaxy, one of our military's largest aircraft. Now, ABC 10 has been given access to embed with the 22nd Airlift Squadron. And we're going to be taking this C-5 to pick up members of FEMA and then on to San Juan, Puerto Rico, where Hurricane Maria has devastated the island.
The difference with a humanitarian is the fact that if you were to compare this to a combat mission, you have other military members who are trained to handle difficult situations, who need supplies. However, people like those in Puerto Rico aren't trained to deal with the difficult situation that they're in. So it's very time pressing that we get them the aid that they need.
Part of the aid we were delivering came in the form of FEMA Task Force search and rescue teams, made up of members of Los Angeles, Riverside, and Sacramento area fire departments. While most Americans on the island were in need of utilities and supplies, early on there were still many trapped and in need of medical attention.
The big thing is a sense of urgency, since we're taking search and rescue equipment, and so obviously if people need to be rescued, we need to find them as soon as possible.
So we just landed at March Air Reserve Base in Riverside, near Riverside, California. We're going to make a quick stop here and then be heading on to San Juan, Puerto Rico once we get loaded up. For the C-5 crew I was embedded with, this was the first humanitarian mission they'd been a part of, a departure from their normal operations in the Pacific and the Middle East.
So normally we do channel runs and contingency runs. The channels deal with regularly scheduled cargo, think household goods when people move back and forth from overseas. Our contingency runs deal with a lot of things, exercises, combat operations overseas. So suffice to say, this is different cargo than I've ever carried before.
All told, the 22nd Airlift Squadron packed their megajet with more than 100,000 pounds of gear, including pickup trucks, boats, ATVs, fuel and supplies, as well as 6 dogs and 81 FEMA task force members.
100, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Just touched down in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Behind me, the C-5 is unloading the cargo that we brought. Over here over my shoulder, you can see Task Force 2, 6, and 7 are here on the ground. They are going to be on the front lines going into these neighborhoods to help the people and the citizens here mitigate this disaster. It's already pretty clear from just from the flight line here at the airport. You can see over my shoulder we have trees down, buildings destroyed. So we're going to get this cargo unloaded and hopefully get it as quick as possible to the people of Puerto Rico.
For us, it'll be definitely humanitarian side. We could be anywhere from issuing out food and water, helping out, assisting people in convalescent care facilities, rescuing people in flooded areas if it's still there. We don't know how long we're going to be here. We know initially we could be here up to 14 days. That's really what it means for us, is that we're helping, and that's what is most important to all of us on this team and all the other teams that are here currently at this time.
Once the C-5 was unloaded and the crew was preparing for the flight back to Travis, orders came through to divert to Joint Base Charleston, South Carolina. They were sending us on another mission.
Palmetto Ops reached 7044. Yeah, we're requesting fuel.
After staging more than 24 hours in South Carolina, the Travis C-5 crew I was embedded with received orders to fly to Fort Campbell, Kentucky, where they'd be picking up 4 Black Hawk helicopters to return to Puerto Rico with. Meanwhile, reports continued to pour out of the U.S. territory that not enough was being done to help those affected by Hurricane Maria.
Military operations are bringing tons of equipment and supplies to the island, but residents in this town tell me they're still waiting for help.
Our squadron's essentially empty right now. Our commander is on the road. He's in North Carolina right now, I believe, picking up Marines to take them to Puerto Rico. Everyone else in the squadron is on the road. We've got, we like to call it min-manned, so it's minimally manned right now.
The aid was making it to the island. I'd flown thousands of miles with it and watched as it was delivered. But whether the aid was leaving the sea and airports and reaching those Americans who really needed it was something else entirely. Despite the political back and forth, the C-5 crew I was with remained focused on their missions.
Behind me, we are loading the last of the HH-60 Blackhawks that are being given to us to transport down to Puerto Rico by the 101st Airborne Division of the United States Army. Now we have 4 of these Blackhawks on the C-5 in the C-5 cargo hold right now. We're going to be taking them down tomorrow morning where they're going to be assisting in relief efforts after Hurricane Maria desolated the island.
It's an honor to be able to help somebody out, that sense of purpose that somebody needs you and you're able to deliver what they need.
Our 22088, just be advised there is going to be a heavy C-5 passing over top of you at 4,000 feet.
Is he also St. Thomas 88?
Negative, he's going to St. Louis, sir.
On September 27th, a week after Maria made landfall in Puerto Rico, our C-5 touched down in Ceiba, a small city on the northeast side of the island, carrying 4 helicopters and soldiers from the Army's 101st Airborne Division we'd picked up at Fort Campbell.
We do have a bigger social media presence on this. A lot of people want to see what we're doing. But the other big difference is what we're carrying. So right now, everything that we have on board is to help other people. That's not always the case.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those opportunities. Again, it's very rewarding. At the end of the day, like I said, the mission is the same. However, I'm making that impact and it's internally motivating.
Another C-5 carrying 4 additional medevac helicopters landed in Ceiba shortly after us. Soldiers from the 101st and the airmen I was flying with worked as quickly as possible to unload the helos and prepare them to head out on missions of their own.
Nice and slow!
On September 29th, the Blackhawks took off from Ceiba on their first relief operation across the island. After 5 days away from their families delivering hundreds of thousands of pounds of aid and supplies to the people of Puerto Rico, the airmen of the 22nd Airlift Squadron were heading home.
So you're on the roll.